Hey guys, we're splitting this interview into 2 parts, so check out the second part in 2 weeks. This episode is sponsored to you by Surfshark. Get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deals/Charlotte. Enter promo code Charlotte for 83% off and 3 extra months free. That's surfshark.deals/Charlotte. ZocDoc is a great place to get good healthcare and to find the right specialist for you. Go to ZocDoc.com/Charlotte and download the ZocDoc app today for free, and then start your search for a top-rated doctor today.
Hello,
Charlotte,
and welcome to this podcast. This is Charlotte tonight's first podcast ever. It took us a long time.
It took us too long.
Charlotte is one of my best friends. We've been friends for
Too long.
a long, 6 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Charlotte is
6
a
or
singer.
7 years.
I know. We met at, I think
We met and then went to On the Rocks after. And
was
I
that
went
the
up
night
to
we
you.
met? I don't remember. I actually was thinking about this. I don't know.
I went up to you and I was like, we have the same name. We should be friends.
Yes. I remember the On the Rocks night. I remember that.
I think that was the same night.
Was that the same night?
I think we met first when we were both way too young to be at
Literally
One Oak.
16.
Literally maybe 15 and 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I knew Kiara. And you were with Kiara.
You knew Kiara? That's how we met?
I knew Kiara first.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that.
And I saw you, and then we went to On the Rocks.
And
I don't know if it was different nights though, but we
it could've
definitely
been.
met at a club.
I remember, yeah. Yeah, we definitely met going out. I met most of my friends honestly going out. At
It's
that
what
age,
happens.
at that time, because there's no other real
There's no other
option.
exactly, and also it's like we were the babies. We were the only young ones out of everybody that we were with.
Yeah, and we wanted to go out.
Oh,
that
we
was
were
so our personality.
thriving.
Literally.
But also now it's I haven't even seen the outside in 3 years. But I'm it's kind of nice. I talk about this a lot with my parents randomly enough, is that I'm I know I was a hell of a child and I literally gave you guys probably more anxiety than you ever deserved to have. But me going out when I was 15, 16, 17 made it so now that I'm 22 and I'm a grandmother. I have 2 dogs and I go to bed at 10 p.m.
No,
and our big night out is we'll go to a bar and then we'll go back to the house.
No, I honestly feel that. I feel I got over it really fast. And now different things just excite me. I literally am
Me
not.
too.
I hate going to a club.
Oh
my God.
hell, it's torture.
A bar I like a club.
Oh, it's so fun, a bar when you can hear people and I don't know.
have a drink
fun
with
night.
5 of your good friends and have an actual conversation.
But I think the thing about clubs, especially when you're young, is when you're a 15-year-old kid and you're brought to this massive room just filled with parties and excitement and free alcohol and famous people and everything you could ever want when you're 15 years old, you're oh, what?
This is so
this
much
is so
fun.
cool. Oh
This
my
is
God.
sick. Yeah.
And also the aspect of that you're not supposed to be there, but you are.
And
you're
it's
way
a school
too young.
night
It's
or
a
something.
school night, you're sneaking out, whatever it is. It was just
you
so
come
exciting.
through the back and I remember, are we going to get in trouble for talking about
I don't think
I think
so.
it's fine. But we would come through. It's also closed down, the LA one. But I remember we
also
would
it's
come,
it's true.
Yeah.
We were we both celebrated our 16th birthday.
No, literally. I remember to get in, you would have to. We would go through the back, and there was a security guard at the back still IDing you. But it wasn't.
It was just for the cameras. We'd show a Pinkberry card.
I would literally I showed a makeup palette one time, literally, and they just look at you and they're
you're good. I'm you're a good person.
No, you wouldn't even need a fake, which is the craziest part.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But also that it was, if you were a dude and you were trying to get in, never in hell.
Unless you had something going on,
whatever it was. But it was a lot of, I do think the aspect of that it was 15, 16, 17-year-old girls with all that was where it gets. Yeah, no, literally,
yeah.
But I mean, I also compare it to this of I've been to my fair share of, not a lot, but I've been to a few high school parties when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And we'd go to parties and go to boys' houses and when their parents were out of town, whatever.
Yeah.
And it would be a bunch of fucking annoying, rowdy kids doing keg stands and throwing up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was drama at every corner. And it was if you're being safe, I guess, and you're being, I don't know, responsible and you're with good people, there's not much difference besides like the fact of age. I mean, maybe that's totally wrong, but
there's more like predatory like parts of nightlife.
There is more predatory parts, but I feel like we were lucky that we had a good friend group that we like had each other's back, and we wouldn't never go anywhere alone. Like it was like seven of us at all times.
No, luckily I never I actually don't have any like horror stories with like any guys. Like honestly, in nightlife, I'm just kind of just like, I just like didn't really talk to any of them. But like I was there. I like went to all of it and like would go to like literally. I remember when I first moved here, going to like house, like being like at 16, not even 17, I was 16, and I remember being like, this is the coolest thing ever. And like now it's like maybe the most cringy thing to do. Like
when you're 16 and it's like it's
like a playground of like, because that's when you first, like that age is when you first when you first, the doors open up to you. You're now considered a woman at 15 because you're like kind of like old enough looking that you can like, you look 19.
You can pass.
Yeah, so that's when
And the trick is nobody actually asks you
no
your
one
age.
Asks. No one wants to know. Oh my God, no one wants to know. And I remember, like, well, even at 15, I would start, like in Toronto, before I moved here, that's when it started. I started going out.
Yeah.
And then here, it was like, you're 16, so now you have suddenly these doors open up. You're not a kid anymore. And like,
but you are a kid.
You're totally a kid. But like, you get to play with the adults now.
Oh, 100%.
You know? And that was fun.
And it's so exciting. It's so exciting, I feel like, to be young and surrounded by old people and feel like not old people but like older people, adults, and to feel like, oh my God, they think I'm cool even though I'm like in high school, whatever, they think I'm cool, they want to hang out with me. But I want to know what you think, because as I've gotten older, so I have two younger brothers, one of them's 19 and one of them's 16, and as I've gotten older and they've gotten and past the age that I was when I was partying and doing things that I should not have been doing, I started having like, not regret, because we had so much fucking fun. We did as a girl, like just us together, but kind of viewing it differently of like just the people that we were around and feeling like you shouldn't have, snuck us when we were 15, and you shouldn't like that. It was inappropriate. And like, if my little brother was like, I don't know, partying every night and getting offered every type of drink, drug, this, that, whatever it might be, getting hit on by older dudes. I mean,
older.
Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would fucking kill them. I would kill all of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I get older and I get to the age that I'm legal and I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that wasn't chill, but it was still so fun. So it's hard. It's a weird mind fuck, because you're like, no, but we were having so much fun. But I'm literally never raising my daughter in LA ever because of that.
No, in a weird way. Oh, in my eyes, like I sure had bad experiences. Like I had experience where I had to go to like the hospital and stuff like that, and like just stupid things where I'm like, that like may have taken too far here and there, whatever. Like got in a car accident, things like that, where it was like just too much. But honestly, like I am like I feel like it was fine. Like in a weird way, I'm just like, that was like, I had so much fun. Truly, like there were some dark moments of it, but I had so much fun. Like that's the word I would use, that I genuinely like don't regret any of it. And like, it was so like, I grew up like fast in that sense, but at the same time, I always felt like I was still a kid. So I didn't feel like I lost like my innocence. Like I was always just like, I will like stay, myself, and like I will always like dabbled with drugs. That was always like my like vice of like rebellion, was like trying a bunch of different things, but I never like took it like I don't know, like in my mind, like I would let, this sounds so bad, but I would let like my daughter do the same thing in a weird way. Like if she could like hang, like
if she was cool.
No, but does this sound absolutely horrible? But I was like, I don't know. Like I just had like, maybe I was one of the lucky people that like didn't have like a terrible like scarring thing happen to me. But I still did. Like technically I still did. But at the same time, I just was like, whatever. Like this was part of like, I love every traumatic thing that happened. Like I literally just love it all. Like it's just fun and it's interesting, and I'm glad
it's made you what you are now.
It made me who I am, and I just love that they're all there. Like I love that I like like, I love that car accident. I love that I got knocked unconscious for 6 minutes for no reason. Like, it's just like, and I love that I ended up here. Like,
that I almost died.
like, in a way, like, it's just like, so like, I don't know. I'm just like happy for all the experiences. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but you asking that, and I'm like, do I regret any of that? Or like, would I be apprehensive? But like, I really like, I think that will be my like college equivalent, like 20s equivalent, because now like I feel like kind of not grandma-ish, but like I'm like always the first one to leave, go home and stuff. Yeah, you feel me on that. So I'm glad that I got it all before I felt like this.
That's what I agree on the most aspect of it. But I also think, I don't know, I think that I'm with you on like, I don't have regrets. And yeah, you're right that what we were doing, it's like, if we didn't do it then, we would have done it now. You know, and I feel like every young girl goes through a sort of rebellious phase or a party phase or whatever it might be. It looks different in every vein, you know, whether it's in college and you're going out every night and you're fucking up sometimes and still having a blast, whatever it may be. We were just really young doing it. I definitely had experiences that I wish I didn't have 100% of like, but it doesn't mean that I regret going out or doing stuff, because I feel like sometimes and some things that happen and it's like you wouldn't be able to control it no matter where you were, what you were doing, you know, who you were with. And it's like I even though we were way too young to be out and doing crazy things, I still feel like in a way we were safe and we had each other's backs and we were always looking out for one another and staying as like a little clan and didn't, I don't know, we didn't get too jaded either. I feel like we just had fun and enjoyed life and did exactly what we wanted to. We were also at the age, it was so nice too, because we were at the age that we were still living at our parents' houses and not having to think about money and responsibilities and jobs. And I was thinking about school, but like didn't really care if I did well.
I was homeschooled at the time too. I didn't even think about
anything.
You
were like my one essay a month. So it was the age to do it. And I also feel like, I feel blessed to have that had happen then, because I mean, I can't tell you how sick I am of clubs.
Sick of it.
Oh my God, to such an extent. It does not excite me. I don't care about it. I rarely even go out to dinners. You know what I mean? Like I just stay at home. And I feel like because we went out so much when we were younger and experienced so much and did everything that we could have done, and it made it so that we can now focus on our careers and things that bring us, you know, true joy and true fulfillment, and not just momentary, you know, one fun party night and you're hungover the next day. It's like now we can lock into what we actually want to do for the rest of our lives. And I feel like most people in their early 20s are still in that partying. And I'm not being judgmental. It's like, go for it. Go have fun. Party all you want. Yeah. But it does feel nice that we're young and able to like really tone into what we want to do for the rest of our lives.
We did it, you know, and like I feel that to my head, like to like in my head where I'm just like I've no like feeling of like, did I have enough fun?
Yeah,
did I party?
No, I'm like,
did I party enough? Like did I it was so like nonstop, like 3 years of zero like responsibility and only fun that I'm like fun. Literally like that was just like like I checked it off, I did it, and I don't feel the need to do it again, which is nice. But I agree with you. I'm glad that it happened when we were young.
Me too.
Like I don't know what else I would have wanted to do at that age. Obviously, I wasn't having sex though. Like I was like just that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You were just partying.
Yeah, I was like yeah. Like I was still like being lame at the same time. It's like my point. Like I wasn't like going full crazy, but I was like, I still was like sending it.
Yeah. I was such, and this is such a weird thing to say. It's not the best thing to say, but I was such a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. And I felt such a strong need to be loved and liked by everyone, especially men, and like very just wanted to be looked at as old and cool and smart and all the things. And I think that mindset got me in a few traps when I was younger of like, you know, sleeping with somebody that I didn't want to sleep with or whatever it may have been. But I wasn't like a little whore going around and fucking everybody, but I had taste. That was my thing. And I would stick with one for a period of time and then move on. I think that the scary part about going out when you're younger is, going back to what we were saying earlier, is that all the guys that we were with are all older. You know what I mean? And it's like, no matter what the case is, no matter how smart I may have been or old soul or whatever
literally,
it is,
it's such a line. I can't.
It's still a 15-year-old. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So that's the kind of aspect of like, it's so weird in my brain. It's so hard to deconstruct. I'm working on it in therapy, but it's like when I was back then, when I was, you know, hooking up with guys, having fun, doing this, like I felt great. I felt happy. I felt respected. I felt like I was making my own decisions and choosing what I wanted to do, and you know what I mean, and having fun and just being safe as well. And like, I never felt, most of the time, never felt disrespected or like I was being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But then when you get older and you look back at it, it's just sometimes that like blatant line of like, okay, but I was 15. Like, that's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it wasn't in the time because we were
you
so
don't feel
natural.
it as
but
the girl,
it's weird.
you know? Yeah.
You don't feel it as a girl because you go, yeah, I am an old soul. I'm older than I am.
Because the truth is like at that age, like you and I and our friends were kind of the more like the people that were doing more
versus
adult
our
stuff.
high school friends.
Versus our other friends, we were doing, so you believe it because you're like, yeah, I am a little bit more like I can talk to the adults at like 15. Like I could,
100%.
and you could too. And so like
you could fit
feel,
any room.
So you feel like they're right, and you feel like I am supposed to be here,
Exactly.
like in a
like,
way.
And
you
it's,
know?
I also felt even stronger than that it would be weird to like date somebody my own age.
Interesting.
That it'd be weird for me to date a fellow high schooler boy because I looked down on them honestly in a way of like, you're just so immature and like I've just lived more than you. And when you grow older and you're like, that's not true though. Like we were still the same age. Like yes, we did live more. We were more mature maybe than other people, experienced more. Because I also feel like maturity goes hand in hand with one, it's like how you're born with emotional maturity. Two, it's how your parents raise you, and three, it's just
what you're exposed
life
to,
experiences and what you're exposed to, your environment. And it's such a strange feeling because when you're young, you're like, no, it's great, I'm happy, no regrets, whatever. But when I get to the age of that, I'm like, I don't know, I'm 22, I'm past the legal drinking age, I can do whatever I want now. It's like there's no aspect of like, oh, you know, you can't do this, you can't this. There's nothing mysterious anymore. And I look back and I'm like, no, I was too young. It's a weird fine line of like, it's very, I don't know. It's strange that I'm like, we were still kids. Yeah. You know, we were still children. And I just think it's like in general, I would never want nowadays, would never want to be with a man that would want to be with
someone that young,
a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Ever. It's just inappropriate. No matter how old of a soul it is, I just find it myself. I wouldn't
it's
be
predatory.
I'd never looking at a fucking 16-year-old boy or like 16-year-old like girl, I'm like, you're a baby. Like get away from me. I don't want to look at you. Literally.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like if someone likes someone that is underage, like it's one thing to be like appreciate a young, beautiful girl. If you want someone who's underage, that is, you want a baby. You want a predatory, innocent thing you can
and
like
something to control.
Vandalize. It's beyond beauty. It's beyond youth. It's beyond like wanting a trophy. It's predatory. It becomes like an actual like robbing of innocence and like I can completely control you. Yeah. That's just when it's like gross. You know,
but
like,
it's
truly
hard.
gross.
It's such a fine line though. Because I know that this is it's the wrong thing to say in this scenario. But just to play devil's advocate, when I was a kid, I was the one that would come on to guys that were older, and like I would always be the one that was like, oh come on, like you know what I mean, blah blah blah. I'm older than I am, and blah blah blah, and like let's just have fun, let's da da da. Like I would be the one to make the move always, and like. Almost not convinced, but like, I don't know, try.
No, you had so much power in that. You really did, Char. Like
did.
You literally
it's such
like
a weird,
owned your shit.
I
like,
did,
you did,
and I wanted, and I just felt very confident, I think, when I was a kid.
You had a lot of like real like natural like ability with people and guys.
Thank you.
Like you just like could own, like you could just own your shit and own a room and own like a situation very easily.
Thank you.
I
knew what I wanted, and I would just go for it and not be shy about it. But then again, I mean, we don't need to talk about it anymore, but it's like getting older. I'm like, oh, but still, I was still so young. And like, I just didn't understand it yet. I just like,
you're not fully developed.
You're not developed yet. And you just want to be cool so badly. And you want to be liked and accepted and looked at as older and cool and fun and interesting and this and that and be whatever you want to be, whatever. That it's like, I don't know. You just can't, you don't see it as it is, which is like, no, you're a kid. Like, stay a fucking kid for a second, you know? But I mean, it's all right. We got to the, I also, though, going back to what you said, is like, I genuinely would not change a single thing, even all the bad experiences. I am so happy with who I am today and what I'm doing with my life and the art that I make. And none of it would be possible without the pain and the craziness of our teenage years.
Yeah, no, it's true. I completely agree with that. I was talking with like my sister and her friend, like all like the bad experiences, like what we were saying like earlier. It's just like part of it. It's just like it's interesting just life. And like it's
everybody
just, like,
goes through it.
Yeah,
everybody has shit. Yeah. And we said this before too. I mean, again, not to be judgmental, I'm jealous of people that have just had it happy and smooth and kind and great the whole time.
Very simple,
but
you know.
I do think grit and shitty experiences make an interesting person. Totally. I think that having to learn how to get through something, having to experience something that was completely undeserved or whatever it may be, and having to heal yourself through that and figure out how to get through it. Once you get through it, it's like, I don't know, it builds people. It builds, it just,
character.
I don't know.
It builds character.
It does. It builds character.
Yeah.
You know, but it's also, it's like, oh my God, like that, I mean, that doesn't mean that I want to be, you know, like fucking, that doesn't mean that I want to have bad experiences or that we're searching for bad experiences. I just think that some shitty things that people go through.
Yeah. What would you tell your kid to avoid? Like, what, now that I'm thinking in my head, like if you were to do it differently, like if you could, which is technically like where our kids come in. Like if we have daughters, like that's kind of like our redemption, you know? Like
I would, it is our redemption. This is the thing. I love my parents so much and we have a great relationship now and I deeply love them, but I was their first kid and they were very strict with me and protective over me and put a lot of rules down on me when I never did anything yet to deserve to be very, you know, restricted. But I also understand it as a parent's, you know, point of view, as my parents' point of view, being like, oh, we don't want, you know, we want to protect our daughter and it's our first daughter and it's our only daughter. Like we need to make sure she's safe and this and that. But I think by doing that and by, you know, giving me a really early curfew and not really letting me do much, it made me rebel. And it also made me not trust them because it made me go, okay, I really want to do this thing really badly. And I know that if I ask them, I'm not going to be allowed to do it. And then they're going to know that I was invited to do that. And then they're going to put more rules down so that they make sure I don't do that.
Yeah.
So instead of being open and honest with them, I would just do it and I would lie. And it was so dangerous, to be honest, because I made like a Lyft account that was just under my email with my debit card. Yeah. So that it went just directly to me and I got all the receipts and my parents wouldn't see it. And I would literally make like with pillows and wigs, fake people to be sleeping in my bed.
I can't.
And I would sneak out. It fucking worked every single time. And I'd sneak out and I would not tell anybody where I was going, except for obviously the people that I was meeting up with, which were like, you know, a bunch of other 16-year-old girls that were partying and then like club promoters. Yeah. And I would sneak out and I'd go in a random Uber on a school night at 15 years old and I'd come home at 4 a.m. and sneak back in. And it was just so dangerous. Nobody knew where I was when I was going. If something happened to me or if some Uber driver, whatever it may be, if something happened, like no one would know where I was. I was so secretive and I was so sneaky and I was so smart and conniving about sneaking out and doing everything that it was just so dangerous. And what happened was when I was 16, I bet you remember this.
This episode is sponsored to you by Surfshark. The internet is getting more and more dangerous by the second. If you're looking for a service to protect your privacy on your computer, check out Surfshark. Surfshark is essentially a VPN, and it protects you from hackers. It protects you from tracking. It protects you from staying off the grid. Essentially, it's like a private server to yourself, which is nice. If you use a VPN, you will forget about geo restrictions. So essentially you can log into like any sort of location to get into any program, to get into any streaming website, anything like that. Check out Surfshark for these things. I was dealing with this exact problem. I wanted to watch Real Housewives of Miami and could not watch it until I downloaded Surfshark. Get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deals/Charlotte. Enter promo code Charlotte for 83% off and 3 extra months free. That's surfshark.deals/Charlotte. As an American/Canadian, I have struggled immensely with my healthcare situation in the US, to be honest. I actually don't have healthcare. So finding a suitable doctor for me has been challenging, to say the least, just because I don't know where to start. Like, I don't know any of this stuff. Like, my parents always did that kind of stuff for me as a kid, because that's what you are as a kid. So ZocDoc is a great solution for people in my situation, or just similar situations, or just needing a new doctor in general. It essentially is an app that allows you to connect with new doctors. Another good thing about it is it kind of covers everything. You know, it goes into specialists as well, like chiropractors, dentists, kind of everything. It's like a one-stop app that allows you to kind of curate your healthcare provider, which is cool. Like, there's not really like a simple solution for finding a healthcare provider. So it's nice that everything is on this app and it's kind of taken care for you if you are in need of this problem and are searching for a new doctor, or your doctor's always busy, or you can't schedule an appointment for 3 months. I had that recently where I was trying to book a dentist appointment, and it literally, the next closest dentist appointment was 4 weeks away, and I was in pain. So I was like, I don't know how to troubleshoot this. ZocDoc is great with this specific problem because it allows you to see doctors from all over in your area, and you can kind of pick and choose who you want, see patient reviews, see everything. Download the ZocDoc app today for free, and then start your search for top-rated doctors today. Many are available within 24 hours. That is ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/Charlotte. ZocDoc.com/Charlotte. It's a mouthful, but you should check it out.
I got in huge trouble because I know, I love it. I'm staring at it. So I'll tell the little story. So first of all, I was heartbroken about something. I was fucking hurt by something. And instead of dealing with it or talking to people, I decided to go on like a little bit of a rampage, just in regards to, I snuck out every night and I tried drugs that I never tried before, that I never wanted to try. I was just like, give me anything, I'll do it. I just want to feel something. Like, I was just being an angsty teen, and everybody's been an angsty teen. But I think being an angsty teen with very adult and scary and dangerous options in front of you, it allows you to be worse than you would be if you didn't have those options. Because most angsty teens will just drink or smoke weed or hook up with boys or do whatever it is. And I was like, there's Molly, so I guess I have to try it. Like, you know what I mean?
Your accessibility was insane.
Exactly. It was all in front of me. So I'm like, I'm hurting, so obviously I'm going to do this. And you don't, you're, as a teen, you're so just like reactive and,
also,
and impulsive.
No like judgment of risk, no assessment of risk.
All. Just,
really.
You feel like you're invincible because nothing has yet to happen to show you that you're not.
Yeah.
And in regards to sneaking out, like, I was really getting away with it. And I had like a week. It was like 1 week of like every night sneaking out, trying a new thing, doing this, doing that. And there was one night that one of my best friends like had to pick me up from one of my girlfriend's houses, and I was like smoked out of the bong for the first time and was like greened out, like throwing up, like convulsing, throwing up, like never been sicker in my life. I think I took a Xanax or something. Like, something was going on that I was like sick. And she picked me up, and I didn't even remember it, and brought me to like her house. I slept over, whatever. I went home. And then that weekend, I kind of was like, okay, you know what? Like, I went through my crazy party, whatever, experimental week, and I'm going to take a chill pill now. And my family went to Malibu. Oh my God, I remember this like the back of my fucking hand. And my dad and I were at lunch, and the waiter came up to us and was like, Bill, there's somebody on the phone for you.
This is so dramatic.
And I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he was like, pack up your things. We're going
Someone
home.
called your dad to the restaurant?
So basically, my 3 best friends, who are still, mind you, my best friends. I mean, I'm for now, like, I'm grateful that they did it. As I got older, I was fucking pissed at them for like a year. I was like, I'm never talking to them again. Fuck them. Like, hate them, whatever. But I'm grateful that they did it because I was being genuinely dangerous and it wasn't cool. And I'm like, I'm happy that somebody knocked
Someone
my shit
cared
into place.
enough,
Somebody
you know?
cared enough. And I also, through this punishment and big thing, developed an amazing relationship with my parents and like was able to just be safe and still have fun.
Yeah.
But anyways, my 3 best friends, Talita, Gracie, and Blake, who are literally my 3 best friends today. I talk to them, all 3 of them, all the time, called my mom and told my mom everything. Of like,
If my friends did that, I would literally never talk to them again. I'm not even kidding. Like, fuck.
The one thing that bothered me was that they didn't call me first. But again, we were all 16 and they were more, I mean, like, Talita, you know, we'd go out together, we'd have fun. She kind of grew up with that life, you know what I mean? But she never really did drugs ever. And like never, she would just like have a few drinks and she was always, they were all like normal 16-year-olds and I was not. And I was being dangerous. I was being reckless. So yes, I was mad at them, but after a year went by, I was very grateful that it all happened. But they called my mom, they told her everything. Oh my gosh. And then my mom couldn't reach my dad. So my mom called the restaurant and told my dad on the phone and I got taken home and oh my God. It was maybe the scariest day of my life of like, they know everything. And also like, I kept trying to lie and they were like, well, no. And I was like,
That's
really?
terrifying.
But I didn't. They're like, but you did. And I was like,
That's
and they were like,
terrifying.
made me take a drug test, did the whole thing.
They made you take a drug test?
But do you want to know something funny about the drug test?
Yeah.
So I peed in the toilet and then I scooped up the pee from the toilet. And if you do that, it's unviable.
It's like watered down.
No, literally.
Like,
It's watered down. It's completely unviable. It'll come up negative. And my parents tried to trick me.
Yeah.
And they go, it tested positive for weed. We know you've been smoking weed. And I was like,
Oh.
yes, I'm so sorry. Like I have, knowing that I just did Molly the night before. And I was like, I did. I'm smoking weed. I'm so sorry. Like I'll take all the punishments, whatever. So I definitely got out of a few things. But through the big punishment and the big like horror that it was, I was able to then be honest with my parents. And I I was grounded for like 3 months, I think. But always find a way around everything. They gave me a rule. They were like, you're grounded except when it comes to music work. Because I've always been passionate about music. It's where they fucked up.
Yeah.
I've always been passionate about music. It's always what I've wanted to do. I've always known that I was going to be a musician, no matter what. It's like since I've been a kid. So what I did was literally every single day scheduled a session with like my friends and people and was just like out at the studio till like 1 a.m. and had like people come to the studio and like I wasn't really grounded.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was working and I made my entire first EP that I released was when I was grounded.
Yeah.
I made it because I couldn't do anything else. But through that, like my parents and I were able to talk and be open with each other because I guess everything was out in the open. And I was just like, here's the deal. Like, would you rather me be at a club or a bar with people that I love that you know and you love and you trust and I'll tell you exactly where I am and what I'm doing, blah, 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 and, you know, have a few drinks maybe, but I've never come home belligerent. Like, I'm always like, except for that 1 week that I was horrible, I'm always really mellow and like safe.
Can
you know
hang.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Just cool and can hang. Or would you rather me fucking hold up some dude's legs on a keg stand at a high school party and like, you be throwing up, blah, blah, blah. And you know what I mean? I gave them, I painted the whole picture and they were like, okay, you're going to be doing this. And I was also like, I want to be a musician. I really want to be in this industry. And everybody that I've made friends with or connections
Was
with
from going out.
was from going out.
Yeah,
and also
literally.
were older than me. And
Yeah.
all the producers I worked with were a little older and songwriters. And like, they were all amazing and great. And some of these people that I met out, like were the defining people at the beginning of my career that helped me get into the music industry and helped me figure, shit out and learn how to write and stuff. And I was just like, can we, like, I know that I'm young. I know that it scares you, but if I'm 100% honest with you about where I'm going, what I'm doing, if I say goodnight to you every night when I come home, like, I'm not going to stay out until 5 a.m. Like, I'll come home, I'll be safe. Like, is that fine? And they were like, yeah, like, that would have been fine if you were just honest with us from the beginning.
Yeah.
So to answer your fucking question, after 30 minutes of story, the one thing that I would do differently with my kids that my parents did, not the one thing, but one of the things I do differently, and something that I would do based off of my experiences, is from the get-go, I would make my child feel as comfortable as possible to just be honest with me. And I would share with her, even though, you don't really want to put much of your trauma, your things on your child, because it's like, you can say too little, you can also say too much, but I want to be able to show my future kids, like, this is what I did, this is what I was doing, this is where I fucked up. I know that you're going to be wanting to do this and this and that. So just be honest with me. And if you're ever in a situation at a party or at a bar or with people and you're drunk or someone's drunk and you don't have a ride home and you don't know what to do, if you call me and tell me that you're in trouble, I will come pick you up. No questions asked. We never have to talk about it again, just because you're being honest with me. But if you come home fucking belligerent on drugs, or I find you, drunk driving or doing something very dangerous and unresponsible, and you lie to me about it, you're gonna get in fucking trouble. Yeah. But if you're honest, you're not gonna get in trouble. You can do what you want as long as you're safe and honest with me and I know exactly what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like I would have been such a better kid.
Yeah.
Because I was just so, I don't know, everybody wants what they can't have. Everybody rebels when they're restricted. Not everybody, but I think all of our friends and people that I know. And it's just, if I felt comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm going to this bar, I'll be home at 1 a.m, I'll text you, like, blah, blah, I'll come say goodnight, like, I'll share my location, or I'll use your Uber account, whatever it may be. Like, it would have made all parties feel comfortable, and I wouldn't have felt the need probably to lie and go crazy and go this. But also, it's such a weird thing because you shouldn't be in a club at 15, but like, you can't prevent it sometimes when you're you can't. Kids are gonna be kids. Kids are gonna party. Like, I just want to go with the mindset of like, okay, you're going to do this. Like, I know that you're going to do this. I did this. My grandparents did this. Like, everybody does this.
This is a historical thing.
It's a historical thing. So as long as we can establish honesty, and like create a sort of safeness, then it'll be fine.
It's interesting because like, I don't know if rebellions like only comes from like repression of something. Obviously that exists. Like, a lot of people swing the pendulum, like Catholic school girls becoming this. Like, it's such a thing. But like, I'm thinking about it, like when I lived with my dad had no rules. And even my mom, like when I lived in Toronto, she was like stricter than my dad, but like she wasn't a strict mom. Like, she was still like just a normal mom, but I still like, so I wasn't like, I had to come home at this time. Like, it wasn't like I had like the strictest mom ever. And like, I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna rebel. Maybe a little bit. But even like with my dad, for instance, like I had no curfew. I had no anything. He would pick up my alcohol for me. He knew I was going out all night. He didn't care. And I still went. So so there's the aspect of like, if your parents like aren't repressing you, like you still might do it. Like, like,
but
you
I think
still
you were
might
still
want
rebelling.
to do it. I was still rebelling, but I wasn't rebelling
for the opposite reason.
I was rebelling for like, it was more just my desire. Like, no one was telling me I couldn't do it. I was just like, I want to do this anyways, like, this is just fun.
Do you ever think though, I mean, I don't know if you even want to talk about this, but because for me, I'm rebelling because I was restricted and because I wasn't allowed to do this and because my parents cared too much.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like maybe you rebelled a little bit because he didn't care enough? And maybe you wanted to go out and do crazy things and have him be like, hey, let's talk.
I think it was more escapism because I was like the first, like I just wanted to take drugs like as young as I could. Like, I remember that. Like, and no one had to tell me, like, no one was like, do you want to do this drug? And I felt peer pressured. No one was. It was me.
You were like,
I wanted to.
Try.
As young as like I can, like as young as 12, I was like, I want to smoke weed. Like, that was like the first thing I wanted to try. And so it, like, I don't know if it was necessarily like no one like cares about me. It was just mere escapism and absolute curiosity into like mind altering things. I was just like, you can get drunk and you can smoke weed and you can do this drug and this drug. And like, you're telling me you just get to feel like really different for a period of time. Yeah. I was just like, this sounds so cool. Yeah. And I had no fear either. Like, no, I'd seen things about drugs and like I'd heard, like, obviously you hear negative things in health class and stuff, but it was more just like my absolute curiosity into escapism. I think it was for me. So it was like, no one was like Charlotte, you can't do this, that it's really bad. But it was just like, this is fun. And I just was all about like wanting to have fun and like, I don't know. I think it was just escapism, like where I just like literally just wanted to have fun.
You wanted to have fun, but also you weren't, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like you weren't happy just at home with your home life. So it was like the way that you would feel happiness and excitement and like love and all the things that you were searching for and we all need and want and crave, especially as teenagers, was outside of the house and was partying all night and was making your own family and making your own friends and I don't know, because I it's so strange because you and I were doing the same thing but with completely different driving forces and completely different home lives. Yeah. But even though it's like, don't you remember too, after I got in trouble and my parents and I had a great relationship and we were all chill. Yeah. You like, we basically lived together for a bit at Boca and it was so much fun. We had the best time. Yeah. But we would go out and we were being kind of safe at this point. We'd go out and have fun and do crazy things, whatever. But we'd always come home and we'd always like, we weren't going crazy with drugs or we weren't hooking up with people either. No, it was like you and me and we were just having fun and that to me felt like a very happy and like calm and safe type of fun. But I feel like before that, when we were younger, we were both kind of practicing escapism in a weird way. Yeah. And we were both trying to just like anything I could do to step away from my life for a second and to fucking feel excitement and thrill and new experiences and things that I shouldn't really be doing.
I remember this was like, my sister was with me this night. This was, because like to your point, like I was about to say like, I've had like a pretty good relationship like with, don't like learn from my experience. I'm just being honest, but I've never been
we're
like
not, if you're 16-year-old, don't do drugs. We're not condoning it. We're just sharing don't do anything. This is just like, we definitely, we're not glorifying it, but we're definitely speaking of the best parts of it, and we're not diving into the very horrible parts of it, which there are.
I like never, that's the thing. Like I was fortunate enough to like not fortunate, but I like experimented with a lot of different things like growing up, and I never got addicted.
Dive into addiction.
Never got addicted.
Me neither.
Never,
which is rare.
Never had.
Most people get addicted.
Most people get addicted, and most people have hardcore problems, or it becomes like so. And that just like to me was all just like a use for me. Like it was all like I used this drug for this purpose, and I got some sort of use out of it. Not all the time, but honestly, like 50% to like more. It was for me. So I just used it as like kind of a tool for something else a lot of the time. But before this, like when I was first starting to experiment with substances, I remember this was like one of the dumbest things I've ever done. I was 15. I just gotten a fake ID. This was one of the first clubs I ever went to in Toronto. This is how ignorant I was to drugs. Like I didn't know anything about even Adderall, any of it. So my sister was prescribed Concerta, which is like, do you know what Concerta is?
It's like a form, like Vyvanse.
It's like Vyvanse, right? Ritalin, Adderall. It's in the same family.
I think my brother takes that.
It's like, so they have
mellow.
They have weird milligrams, like they're like 54 or something. So this is like, I can't even believe how fucking stupid I was. I thought like, okay, so if someone takes like one Adderall or one Concerta, that's like normal. So if you take 3, that's like how you would feel it, right?
Oh my God.
That was my logic. So I took 3 Concerta to go out first.
We're like,
no. So I haven't felt it yet at this point. And it was like 20 minutes, haven't felt the Concerta, took 3 of them. I take another 3. So I'm 6 Concerta. Yeah, 6
You're
Concerta deep.
lying.
I'm not kidding. This is how stupid I was. Like this
you just didn't know. That's what we're saying about accessibility. When it's in front of you and you have no idea.
No fucking
idea. And there was nobody to teach you, which makes me sad and makes me want to cry for you.
But like, who the fuck
but there was no one to go like, hey, don't do that.
Like that was
hey, don't take 6 Concerta.
So fucking stupid. And then we go to this.
1 is too many. When you don't have ADD.
1 is too many.
And you're totally fine and you take one, you feel like you're on speed.
You feel like you're on speed. And so I was like literally like ripping it. And then
what happened?
We go out and then we go to this club called Government, which doesn't exist anymore in Toronto. And we go in, like my fake ID works. Sam's didn't even fucking work. Sam was like of age at the time. We like finally both get in. And I remember someone there gave us ecstasy and I took it, but I had taken it before. So I was like, I was down. So I was on ecstasy, 6 Concerta, and I was drinking. And so I remember I went to the bathroom. So we check our coats and I had my coat check.
This is crazy. Oh my gosh.
I remember like in the bathroom.
Died.
So I had my coat check like tag in my bra. And I remember in the bathroom, I was so high. I actually started hallucinating a little bit. And I've never hallucinated on ecstasy since then, but I was just so fucked up that I did a little bit. And I don't even know if that, but I do remember hallucinating a little bit. You did? Okay, yeah.
Wait, but did you feel the Concerta first?
So I just, like, all of it combined, I just felt like I was on Molly kind of thing. Like, that's what it felt like. I felt very up, like, you're on coke, like, kind of that feeling. And, like, I poured water on myself, like, in the bathroom. I don't know why. I was just, like, fucked up. And the coat check tag disintegrated in my bra. And our family's Christmas party was the next morning at 12 p.m., 12 o'clock, like the next day. And so we go to coat check. We're like, can we please leave? We're like literally so young. We're like, can we please leave? Like we have to go. We don't have the coat check thing. We have to wait till 7 a.m. till the club closes to get our coat check. So we stay till 7 a.m. at this fucking club to get our coat check, to get our house keys. Like everything was there because this coat check fucking thing disintegrated. We go home. We start, I don't know if you, we start throwing up black like tar into it. I threw up in a cup like next to my bed. We were like on the ground, like laying down like this. Like literally
like the worst pain you've ever been.
Because I was just so up. Like my eyes were so dilated. I was like literally just so like up. Like
yeah,
so I was like
you have a tiny little body,
like,
tiny little baby, and literally was like on meth.
I'm sure it was like honestly an equivalent to feeling like you're on meth. And I remember we called our grandma, who's like cool, and we're like, this is what happened.
Hey grandma.
Like this is we called her. We told her what happened.
We took a lot of drugs.
We told her and she was like, go to the hospital. We go to the hospital. They gave us Ativan to like calm us down, and our pupils.
Were you like shaking?
Oh my god, it was so bad.
You couldn't sleep.
I've never thrown up black. Like I threw up into a cup next to my bed, and it looked like, you know, in Harry Potter where he threw up slugs.
Yeah,
it
looked like
literally identical to that. It was like this black sluggish mixture in this cup. Like it was, I so poisoned myself. Oof. And then they gave us the Ativan. Our pupils were so dark, and I remember me and Sam hadn't slept. We were high on drugs the whole night, and then I had to put on like black eyeliner, black eyeshadow. Like I didn't wear that much makeup at the time, and I just to hide how dilated my pupils were because they were so fucking dark. And I looked high.
Were you still high like the whole next day?
Oh my god, I remember me and Sam couldn't even barely sit down. I remember we didn't even look at each other.
At least you were in it together.
We didn't even. No, we didn't even look at each other for majority of the Christmas party because it was too. We were just like, we can't. It was like I remember one time like we were standing across from each other. We just like looked up at each other. We're like. To this day, our mom has no idea. Like, no idea.
Oh my gosh.
But
that's
that was
so
like
scary.
True ignorance.
Yeah, you would never do that now. But also, like,
oh my
if
God.
you knew, if you knew at all the effects of it, you wouldn't do it. You didn't know. But oh my God, that's so scary. I know I have like proper ADD, so I've been always prescribed ADD medication, whatever. But still, like, I was prescribed Adderall when I was like 18 or 19, I think. And I literally bet I still have my bottle from when I was first prescribed it because I took one and it was like 40 milligrams or something. And
they
I was
gave
used
you 40
to
milligrams?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Damn.
And I was used to like 10 milligrams, like light. And when I used to take a 10 milligram Adderall for literally school and stuff, I would be calm and focused and I could fall asleep immediately. Like it would have the normal effect on me. But with the 140 milligram Adderall, I was like, ugh. And I couldn't eat. And I was like, I took it like for 3 days and I was like, I can literally never doing it again. I feel like I'm on speed. I feel insane. 6? That's scary.
I'm trying to think of to this day, like that might have been the dumbest I've ever been.
Oh, I have a funny. I have one thing of the dumbest I've ever been with drugs, but it didn't have any effect on me. It's very strange. And I talked to my doctor about it and she gave me a weird explanation. Okay. So one time I used to date this guy called Lane.
Poor Lane.
Oh my
God.
Lane.
He was the sweetest boy
ever.
Do you
realize, side note, I hope he doesn't watch this, every single time anybody ever mentions Lane or surfing or a director or anything that involves anything to do with Lane, because Lane was just like a really sweet, like innocent, just pure. Like he was like my dad, which is weird to say, but he was. They looked like a little bit. He was just like guy. Just too kind for his
Yeah.
own good. I would be
You
like,
ruined that
bro,
boy.
I did it. It was so bad. No, but I was still nice. But
You were.
I mean, every time he's brought up, my whole family goes, "Oh, poor Lane. I miss Lane." And I'm like, it's been 7 years.
It's literally been
And
like
they
6
love
years.
my boyfriend now, but they're just like, it's like the family joke of like poor Lane.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was dating Lane, and he's so trustworthy and kind, and all of his guy friends are trustworthy and kind and lovely people, like good, kind people. And we were going to Coachella together. And we were all staying in a house, and I was the only girl, and it was like 6 of these boys, and I trusted them with my motherfucking life. Like they had my back. They had my back. They were
good guys.
They were
Yeah.
good guys, and I
Yeah.
trusted that if anything were to ever happen to me, any one of the 10 boys would have picked me up and helped me in a second.
Yeah.
And they all had my back. So I planned it before Coachella. I was like, you know what? I'm going to Coachella and I'm going to try Molly for the first time ever. I really want to do it. I want to hallucinate. I want to have a fun experience. I'm going.
It's like not even a hallucinogenic.
I don't know because it's
Yeah.
never worked on me. I'll
Yeah.
tell you this.
Okay.
So I was prepared myself. I like did my research of snacks and this and that and things that you'd want, and I brought sunglasses and this and like
Yeah.
I was like I was so excited, and I think that's fine if you're in a safe environment and you're getting a hallucinogen or whatever it is, whatever it is from a very safe source. Again, I don't condone drug use.
No,
I'm
this
sorry,
is for real.
but,
Like we don't. It's just like
we
just,
don't
yeah.
condone it. It's just experiences. I don't condone it, and I also haven't not done drugs. And besides weed, I smoke weed all the time. Sorry, but I haven't done
like a
drugs.
full
in-
tray on the-
literally full tray of weed. But I haven't done like drugs in maybe 5 years. Like I really don't do anything, and I do not condone it, and it's horrible for you. Anyways, I was 17, whatever I was, and wanted to do it, and one of the boys had Molly, and he had like a whole little bag, got it months ago for Coachella, and we all, like 10 of us, took it together at the same time, okay? And we're all at the house that we're staying at. And like an hour and a half goes by, like pretty kind of slow, but like an hour and a half goes by, we're still hanging there, and they all start tripping. All of them are like, whoa, like, oh,
Yeah.
let's run around, blah, blah, like
This
very
is Molly, you
obviously-
said?
Molly.
Okay.
And they're like tripping, and you can see it in their pupils. You can
Yeah.
see just like the way they're acting. They're like rolling, and it was like properly rolling. They're ready to go to the festival, and I'm like, I don't feel a single fucking thing. I feel absolutely nothing.
Do you remember what kind of Molly it was? Like was it Moon Rocks?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It was in pill
Okay.
form. So I feel absolutely nothing, not a single thing. And we go to the One Oak party at like they had this huge crazy house at Coachella of like,
Yeah.
fucking Coachella. So crazy thinking back of it of like,
Coachella
we have to
is
One Oak
kinda
party at
cringe.
Coachella. Like,
Like, I
so
kinda love it.
ridiculous.
I like
But
live
it's
in the
fun,
cringe.
Whatever. It's LA. And we went to this huge house party. And this girl, Alyssa, came up to me, and this sweet girl that I knew briefly, and I also trusted in regards to like,
Yeah.
she's not gonna fuck me over.
Were you
in
talking
any
about Alyssa
way.
Violet? Okay.
Yeah. Like I just trusted her.
nice and
She's
cool,
a
yeah.
nice and sweet girl. She comes up to me and she's like, I have a whole bottle of Molly water. Do you want to try some? And I was like, yes. Because I was like, we just
I
tried
wanna
to take
feel
this
this.
Molly
Yeah.
and we don't feel it. She's rolling. Her pupils are huge. Like it's already going. And she warns me. She's like, I put 2 Mollies in this water, and the water is like has like 2/3 left. Like it's like there's just a little bit
Yeah.
left. So there's probably like
A lot in there.
a lot in
Yeah.
there. And she was like, finish it.
Yeah.
And I swigged
You
it.
finished
I
it.
finished
Damn.
it.
Okay.
So now I'm on like 2.5 Mollies.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah.
And I wait and I wait and I wait, and hours go by, and I feel absolutely nothing. And we go to the festival. I kid you not. Maybe the dumbest thing I've ever done. We go to the festival. And I was just so sick of it because my boyfriend and all of my friends and everyone that I was with was rolling and so happy and having the best time. And I was dead fucking sober, and I planned for
didn't
it and
feel
was excited
anything?
for it. Didn't feel anything.
Like even negative feelings? You didn't
Nothing
feel
at all.
any- that's
Not
so
a
weird.
single thing. Not even a stomach ache. Nothing at all. Dead sober.
Yeah.
And a random person, literally random person in the area that we were with, we were like all sitting on the ground, random dude dancing, was like, does anybody want a Molly? I was like, me. I was like, this
That's
girl.
crazy, yeah.
And I took a 4th Molly, or it was like a 3rd, but it was like, this
Yeah.
was like my 4th Molly
Yeah, literally.
within like 3 hours. Nothing.
What,
Not
what
even
did your
li-
doctor say about
I
this?
called my doctor, and I was like,
It's a valid
hey,
question.
weird question. But just wondering hypothetically, if one were to try Molly and be immune to it. And she said to me, and I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if this makes sense or not. Again, I'm not a doctor. And again, we don't condone drugs. If you take drugs, you're a loser. The doctor was like, as a kid, my metabolism was really fast.
Yeah.
And I also was playing like intense high school sports. And I was a fucking little stick. Like I had like chicken legs. I was tiny. And she was like, your body metabolizes the Molly before it has the chance to like hit your bloodstream or stomach or something. She was like, it metabolizes before it can like go into your bloodstream or something. It didn't make sense to me. I'm probably not repeating it right either, but it was something about metabolism of like that it like metabolizes it before it can like affect you.
Have you ever felt the effects of it or
Never.
No? Never. Mm-mm. Oh, you've still to this day have never.
I never tried it again.
You never tried it after that.
I mean, I literally like the story of when I got in huge trouble and my friends called.
Yeah.
When I was going crazy, when I had a week of like experimenting, the night that I took Molly, that I tried it, I didn't feel it, but I was also, again, such bad behavior, disgusting loser behavior. I also tried Coke and it was like trying everything for the first time. It was kind of like you of like, I didn't know what things were. I thought that Coke was like weed powder. Like I had literally.
Coke is just weed powder.
No, I was like, it's weed powder. Well, because the only drug that I knew was weed.
Yeah.
That was the only drug that I knew when I was like 15, 16 going on this like rampage. So I see this powder and I hear drug and I'm like, weed powder. Duh. It's just weed, but powder, obviously. So I tried it and I took Molly and whatever. And I remember I never felt any of effects of Molly. And when I was feeling anxious and weird and whatever, it was from the weed powder, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's just never hit me. So since the whole Coachella thing, I just never tried it again. And then once at my now boyfriend's birthday 3 years ago, I think, he threw a really big birthday party. It was, I think, like 2018 or 19, like a huge birthday party at his house. And it was so much fun. And one of my best friends ever, this guy Gallus, he's so fucking funny. He's so wonderful. He's so, again, trustworthy and amazing. He was like, I have the purest of the pure ecstasy, like, let's all split a little pill and just like have a fun night. And we were at my boyfriend's house and it was such a comfortable environment. And we all split it and I took it and it didn't affect me. And that was the first time I ever tried ecstasy and it didn't affect me. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like hallucinogens or uppers or whatever.
Have you tried other
hallucinogens?
Well, I don't know if
I've tried
ecstasy is
shrooms and that
hallucinogenic.
affects. And shrooms,
Have you
like,
tried
I feel
LSD
it.
or no?
Never tried LSD, never
Okay.
tried acid. I really haven't done a lot of drugs.
No, I mean, that's good.
I know, but because I'm not a loser.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is a world in which drugs can be not good for you ever, but like okay if it's in a safe environment and if you're using it to maybe experience and dive
Expand
into
your mind,
mind and dive into the depths of your soul and I don't know, experience
Drugs can be
something
positive. Obviously,
They
like
can
that's
be.
not the message I'm trying to send. But
No. But they can be life altering or okay to do if it's in a very safe and trusted environment. You know what I mean? It's like, I do think though, in regards to Coke, and
Coke is pretty pointless to me.
horrible. It's
like,
horrible.
What's the point?
No.
Like,
It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I never condone it. You should never even try it. I deeply regret trying it when I was a kid. And we were also lucky that we were still in an age, in a time that it wasn't as diluted as it is now. But 90% of Coke in LA, 90% of all Coke in LA is dosed with fentanyl, has fentanyl in it. That's why everybody, I mean, it's really sad. Everybody, we both know multiple people that have passed away in the past 3 years.
Two
from
friends pass away from fentanyl.
Fucking 3 friends.
Yeah.
No, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I think it's like, no, the whole, Coke, heroin, crack, like don't try it. It's pointless. It's absolutely horrible. It kills you. It's suicide.
Yeah.
But in regards to shrooms, weed, hallucinogens, whatever, I do think that if you're safe, if you feel ready, if you are prepared, whatever it is, it could be beneficial beneficiary in
with
some ways.
drugs is like, that's what I always say to people. Like, for people who are like, oh, I don't know if I should try this, whatever. Again, like, take this with a grain of salt. But I'm always like, don't do anything unless you really want to do it. Like, seriously, don't let anyone convince you of anything, and don't let anyone like persuade you or be like, oh, that I should take this. Like, at least like, I mean, don't, whatever. This might also not be good advice, but like, don't do anything unless you're like, I want to do that. Like, don't let anyone.
But even if
convince
even if you really want to do that, the opposite.
Also think about it.
Also,
like,
you got to think about it, and you got to think about all the dangers, because I
Coke,
feel
don't do Coke.
No,
Coke is
never do Coke.
pointless.
It's disgusting. It's pointless. It's disgusting. But I also think you and I are so lucky, because I do not know, especially with our family histories, I do not know how
We didn't get
we
addicted.
don't have addiction
I
in our
know.
bodies.
I
I've
know.
never felt addicted to, except for nicotine. I was deeply addicted to my
Nicotine's
vape.
like so hard though to kick
It's so
for everybody.
hard, and
yeah.
like nicotine and like sugar, I feel addicted
I'm
to.
addicted to sugar.
I fucking,
And
I have
addicted
literally
to my phone
one-
and sugar. Addicted to my phone and sugar. For
two.
real.
Mine is nicotine and sugar, but it's like they're
Low
looked
risk.
at as like absolutely no risk when
Yeah.
there is a big risk.
Yeah.
For all of them, for sugar, for tobacco, nicotine, and for
your phone,
phones.
yeah.
They're all horrible for you, but they're the better of the, or what is it? The lesser of the evils.
Yeah.
What's this? The lesser of the bad evils.
It's a lesser evil.
There you go.
Yeah.
But Charlotte and I are very lucky that we've never had that
Addiction
addiction
problems,
bone
yeah.
in our body, so we've been able to kind of escape,
Come out unscathed a little bit.
come out
yeah.
unscathed and escape like the true dangers of experimenting. So I
Yeah.
do feel like if you are of age, you're 21 and you're able to,
You have to be 21.
you got to be 21 and you wanna
Not just an old soul.
not just an old soul. You can't be 15 with an old soul, but 21, and you feel like you're stuck in one way or the other, or you just want to experiment. Go,
Try
shrooming or this or that,
hallucinogenics first.
going out of your
Those are the
body.
best.
Yeah,
Try,
but
like-
also if you have that addiction in your body, in your brains, in
Yeah.
your blood, in your family, whatever it is, be fucking careful. Don't
Yeah.
do it.
Don't
Choose
do- yeah.
you and always choose the safer route.
Yeah.
But I also think it's like, I don't know. I think that some drugs can help people.
No, yeah, I mean, totally. I'm such a big proponent of trying like hallucinogenics to like better like help your psyche. Like I think it really
but
works.
so-
It's
it
worked for
opens your
me.
mind. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I also
It
feel
also
like
it taps you into your unconscious specifically, so it really
Hell
helps
yeah.
and allows you to like hear yourself